audio-only version on our Telegram channel. My parents want to give my business to my stepsister, even though they said I'd never achieve anything. I'm 35 and I own a successful coffee shop in downtown Seattle. Not a chain, just one cozy, popular spot. We roast our own beans, have our own small brand. It's my pride and joy, the work of my life. It wasn't always like this. My parents divorced when I was 15. Dad left for another woman who had a daughter my age, Natalie. A year later, they married, and Natalie became my stepsister. From then on, I was the backdrop to her genius. Natalie was perfect. Straight-A student, math Olympiad winner, played the piano. I was average, into skateboarding and music my parents called noise. They constantly said, "Look at Natalie, she's got a sharp mind. You should be like her. You need to find something practical, not chase pipe dreams." The worst came at 18. I wanted to study culinary arts or restaurant management. Dad laughed, "What, trained to be a waiter? Natalie's got the business sense to start her own thing, but you get a stable job with a paycheck." I left home that day. Couch-surfed with friends, then rented a room in a rough neighborhood with 3 other guys. Worked as a waiter, barista, dishwasher, whatever. I went to community college at night. My parents didn't show up to my modest graduation. I didn't care. I saved money, dreaming of my own coffee shop. Dad paid for Natalie's fancy university degree in economics. She graduated and got a standard office manager job where she's been stuck for the last 10 years, never moving up. Her business sense vanished. Everything changed in 2020. The pandemic hit. I lost my restaurant job when it closed for good. I was on unemployment, a nightmare, but I had an idea. I took my savings $50,000, bought an old but functional coffee cart off Craigslist, and started selling coffee to go in parks and on the waterfront. I woke up at 4 a.m., roasted beans on my ancient skillet, my neighbors hated it, and experimented with blends, people loved it. My coffee gained traction. Within 6 months, I saved enough for a food truck. A year later, I rented a tiny space in a prime location. I called it Jake's Corner. I worked 20-hour days, barista, cleaner, buyer, Instagram marketer. It worked. 3 years later, Jake's Corner was a local legend. Blogs wrote about us, people recommended us. I hired 2 baristas, focused on roasting and growth. I climbed out of debt and even started saving. I made a mistake. I posted a photo on Facebook of my new, just-bought professional roaster. Proud, happy. Caption, "Dreams come true. Thanks to everyone who believed." My parents and Natalie saw it. A week later, they showed up at my shop unannounced. Dad, his wife Linda, Natalie's mom, and Natalie. They barged in like it was their family museum. "Show us your setup, son," Dad said, clapping my shoulder like I'd just won a school art contest, not built a business from nothing. They poked around, criticizing everything. The decor too dark, prices too cheap, we're not serving the poor, music, your noise again. Natalie stayed quiet, smirking that same smug, sugary smile from childhood. Dad pulled me aside. "Son, we talked. Natalie's stuck at her job, no growth. She's got a family, 2 kids, a mortgage, but you've taken off. We think it's only right you take Natalie on as a partner. She's got an economics degree. She'll whip this place into shape. You can focus on your hobby." He nodded at the roaster. I was speechless. I looked at Natalie. She chimed in, "Yeah, Jake, I've got a strategy. Switch to cheaper suppliers, boost margins, add frozen pastries, raise prices." "You're clearly under-earning." I laughed in their faces. "Are you insane? This is my business. I built it alone while Natalie whipped things into shape at her desk job. No partnership. Want coffee to go or not?" Their faces twisted. Linda started, "We're family. You should help your sister. She has kids. Are you that selfish?" Dad piled on, "I'm your father and I say this is the right call." I politely but firmly asked them to leave. They stormed out, tossing over their shoulders, "You'll regret this." I thought that was the end. I was so wrong. A few days later, inspections started hitting. Health Department, Fire Safety, IRS. Someone anonymously reported sanitation issues, trade violations, tax evasion. Each time I had to close for half a day, losing money and sanity. Every inspection found nothing. I kept everything spotless. But the stress was maddening. Then brutal reviews flooded city blogs and Google Maps. "Coffee with roaches, rude owner. Coffee tastes like sewage." I knew who was behind it. The climax came yesterday. I arrived to open the shop and the door had a new lock. My key didn't work. Voices came from inside. I called the police. When the cops arrived and we got in, I saw a surreal scene. My parents and Natalie were inside, drinking my coffee from my mugs. Natalie was at my laptop, studying something in Excel. "What's going on?" an officer asked. "We're the owners," Dad said. "Just a family dispute. My son's a bit unstable, so we've temporarily taken over to keep him from messing up." I pulled out my phone, showing the cops my documents, business registration, lease, licenses, all in my name. Natalie tried to counter. "He's just the nominal owner. It's a family business. We contributed ideas." I played a recording I'd started when they showed up. I'd learned my lesson. It captured our partnership talk, their threats, calling me selfish. The police politely but firmly escorted them out. Dad, red-faced, hissed as he left, "You're not my son. You don't deserve our name. We'll make sure you lose everything." I changed all the locks, installed motion sensor cameras with alerts. I filed for a restraining order. It's in progress. Yesterday, Linda called from a new number. She said they forgive me and are willing to give me another chance. That Natalie just wants what's best for me and I should show maturity. I told them the only thing I want is for them to disappear from my life forever. Hung up. They still think they're right, just caring for their wayward son, seeking justice for their talented daughter. I just brew coffee, the best coffee in town. Every day I thank myself for ignoring them and not getting a stable job. My shop is my middle finger to their "you don't have the right head." My head's just fine. Their hearts, that's the real problem. Thanks for listening, Reddit. If more happens, I know where to find you. A few weeks have calm passed. The cameras recorded empty sidewalks and the new locks kept my shop safe. I started to let it go, thinking they'd backed off, realizing how absurd their actions were. I was wrong. Their revenge was sneaky, silent. The first sign was a letter from my landlord, Mr. Chen. He stopped by one evening after closing, unusual for him. "Jake," he said, sitting down, "I got a complaint. Anonymous. They claim you're running illegal production with uncertified equipment, endangering residents. They also say there's a burning smell, possibly a fire hazard." My blood ran cold. My roaster was fully certified, permits in order. The burning smell was the aroma of fresh roasted coffee, my favorite thing. "Mr. Chen, I know, Jake," he cut me off. "I'm not blind. I see how clean you keep things. I love your cappuccino, but I have to check. An inspector's coming next week. Have your documents ready." I thanked him. He's fair. But the feeling of being watched, my every move twisted in some vile complaint, haunted me. The second blow came from my main bean supplier. My contact, Tom, called. "Jake, weird situation. We got a complaint from your family. They claim you're mentally unstable, unable to meet financial obligations. They asked us to pause deliveries until family issues are resolved." I couldn't believe it. "Tom, we've known each other forever. I pay on time." "I know, Jake," he said, sympathetic. "That's why I'm calling. We're ignoring this nonsense, but be careful." They sound confident, said they have legal counsel and it's under review. I nearly smashed my phone. They were trying to choke my supply chain, kill my business without touching me. The next day, Natalie showed up. Alone. No dad, no Linda. She stood outside my shop with a leather briefcase, looking like she was there for a board meeting. I saw her on the camera and debated calling the cops. Curiosity won. I opened the door. She walked in, cool business smile. "Jake, let's talk like adults." "We've got nothing to talk about, Natalie." "Oh, we do. You're in a tough spot. Complaints, inspections, it could hurt your reputation. And reputation is everything in your business." "You know who's behind it?" I asked, barely containing my rage. She waved a hand like swatting a bug. "Doesn't matter. What matters is it can stop. Dad's willing to drop all complaints. All of them. He'll even acknowledge your success. For one small favor." I stayed silent. "I need a job, Jake, not a partnership. Just a job. I need real business experience. Hire me as a manager. I'll streamline operations, optimize costs, improve logistics. You can focus on your coffee. Win-win." I stared at her, this woman who sneered at my hobby, tried to destroy what I built, now offering help. Her eyes held cold calculation, unshakable confidence. "You've got it wrong, Natalie," I said quietly. "This isn't a tough spot. It's war. You started it. Now you're on my turf, offering surrender dressed as a peace deal." Her smile vanished. "You're as foolish as ever, Jake. You never grasped there are things bigger than your ego. Family, support." "Family," I laughed. "You talk about family. You who tried to take everything from me. Get out of my shop. Now." "Dad will be disappointed," she said coldly, turning. "Tell him his disappointment is the least of my problems." She left. I locked the door, leaning against it, hands shaking. This was worse than an open attack, a poisoned blade wrapped in silk. They wouldn't stop. They'd slowly, methodically ruin what I love, but I wouldn't stop either. I'm a fighter. I went from dishwasher to business owner. I wouldn't let them win. I went to my tiny office, opened the safe. Inside was an old notebook with contacts, people I'd worked with, lawyers specializing in business disputes. It was time to stop defending, time to counterattack. The war was just beginning. "My lawyer Mark costs as much as a good coffee machine, but he's worth it." After an hour-long talk where I laid out the whole story, he rubbed his hands gleefully. "Classic," he said. "Toxic family with a messiah complex. Don't worry, Jake. We've got enough for a beautiful counterattack. Step 1. An official letter to Dad, Linda, and Natalie. Dry legal jargon, but clear. Any further attempts to interfere with my client's business, spread false information, or file baseless complaints will be treated as malicious harassment, material harm, and defamation. We are prepared to sue immediately for damages and emotional distress." We sent it via certified mail with receipt confirmation. The effect was instant. Dad called, first time in months. No yelling. His voice was quiet, but it dripped with rage, like the phone might melt. "What's this?" "Threats? You're suing your own father." "Not threats, Dad," I said calmly. "A warning. You crossed every line. You tried to ruin my life. I'm done tolerating it." "We wanted to help," he shouted, that familiar tone breaking through. "Natalie could make your business real. My business is real. It feeds me, employs others. Your help is poison. Keep it away." He hissed something and hung up, Mark's second step, a complaint to the State Bar Association. Their legal counsel was Dad's old friend, a near-retired lawyer. We filed against his unethical conduct and involvement in business harassment. It was as much psychological as practical. We showed we knew their moves and would fight on their turf. I didn't sit idle. I did what they feared most, told my story, not on Instagram. I invited Sarah, a journalist who frequented my shop and wrote a local business column for a respected paper. I told her everything: childhood, being dismissed, the coffee cart, the pandemic, my business, and my family trying to take it. I didn't ask for pity, just laid out the facts. Her article, Jake's Corner, How Family Drama Threatens Seattle's Best Coffee, was neutral but clearly sympathetic. It mentioned the strange inspections and anonymous complaints. The impact was stunning. That day, the line at my shop spilled onto the street. People came not just for coffee, but to support me. "Keep going, Jake, we're with you." Regulars shared my story with new customers. My shop became a symbol of the little guy fighting injustice. I got letters of support. Even Mr. Chen stopped by, bought a huge cappuccino, and smiled. Inspection canceled, complaint deemed baseless. My family lost, not in court yet, but in public opinion. They became the villainous parents in a drama everyone discussed over my coffee. They went silent. No letters, calls, visits, quiet. But I didn't see it as victory. I know them. They're licking their wounds, waiting. Their contempt for me is now 1,000 times stronger because I dared fight back. I dared when I sat in my shop after closing, packaging fresh roasted beans. Rain pattered outside, washing the city clean. I was alone but not lonely. I had my business, my coffee, my truth. I knew it wasn't over, just a pause, but I was ready for the next round. My coffee was hot, my resolve cold, and the future smelled like fresh roasted Arabica. That smell was mine alone. Months passed quietly. Jake's Corner thrived. Sarah's article brought not just support but new customers from across the city. I hired another barista, Chloe, a cheerful student who fit perfectly into our small team. I started believing in people again, in hard work and honesty triumphing over toxicity and selfishness. I even thought my family had backed off, maybe realizing they couldn't break me. I was wrong. They just changed tactics. One evening, cleaning espresso machines, I got a visitor I hadn't seen in years. Uncle Bob, Dad's younger brother. Always a quiet shadow in our family drama. We hadn't spoken since I lived at home. "Jake," he said, smiling nervously at the door. "How's it going?" I was on guard. Bob wasn't the drop-by-to-chat type. "Fine, thanks," I said cautiously. "What brings you?" He stepped inside, looking around like he'd never seen a coffee shop. He hadn't. "Cozy place," he said, choosing words carefully. "Heard you're doing well." I waited for the punch. "Listen, Jake, I know things are rough with your dad, but he's your father. He's getting old, sick, heart's giving him trouble." That hit hard. Dad always seemed indestructible. "What's wrong with him?" I asked reluctantly. "Stress, Jake, all this stress. He doesn't show it, but he's torn up over this thing with you. Doesn't sleep. Linda's worried, both of them." My chest tightened. They were playing my 1-week string guilt, the part of me that still remembered the kids seeking Dad's approval. "What do they want?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Just a talk. No lawyers, no threats, a family talk. They want to apologize, found some family therapist. They're willing to do anything to make peace." It sounded too good to be true, too perfect. But the image of a sick, sleepless dad was too much. "Where and when?" I sighed. "Tomorrow, their place. 7 p.m. I agreed. It was a mistake. My childhood home hadn't changed, same manicured lawn, same brass-handled door. My heart raced as I rang the bell. They didn't greet me as expected, no coldness or aggression. Linda smiled tightly, not hostile. Dad sat in the living room armchair, looking tired, a decade older. Natalie was nowhere in sight. "Jake," Dad said, voice low. "Thanks for coming." They offered tea. We sat in awkward silence. Linda talked about the weather, new neighbors, strange, unnatural. "Son," Dad finally said, staring at the floor. "We messed up. We wanted what's best, for Natalie, for you, but we went the wrong way." Linda nodded, eyes tearing up. "We just wanted everyone to be okay, no one left out. We pushed too hard." I sat, processing. Part of me wanted to believe, wanted this pain to end. "I appreciate you saying that," I said cautiously. "We're ready to let the past go," Dad said, meeting my eyes. I saw that familiar, cold calculation behind his tired mask. "Forget the lawsuits, complaints, that newspaper article. Let's start fresh, as a family." Then Natalie appeared from the kitchen, holding a folder of papers, her face devoid of remorse or humility, just businesslike resolve. "Here's what we propose, Jake," she said, placing the folder before me. "We forget the past, forever. You gift us 20% of your business, nominally, a symbol of trust to show you forgive us and see us as family and partners." I opened the folder. Pre-drafted contract for transferring a business share, all legally clean. I looked at Dad. The tired mask was gone, replaced by that old condescending look. This is a trap," I whispered. "You're not sick, you're not sorry, you just found a new way to screw me. It's a chance for peace, Jake." Linda's voice turned shrill. "We're giving you a way to fix your mistake, to show family matters." "My mistake?" I stood, chair scraping loudly. "My mistake was coming here. You haven't changed. You're just sneakier in your awfulness." Natalie smiled coldly. Sign and your problems vanish. Refuse and you're declaring war. Full scale. We have resources, Jake. We won't stop. Something in me snapped. All pity, doubt, hope vanished, leaving cold, pure anger. Fine, I said quietly. War it is. I turned and left. They didn't stop me. As I closed the door, Dad shouted something angry, incoherent. I walked down the dark street, rain misting, feeling like cleansing. They'd shown their true faces. For the last time the next day, I called Mark. They made their move, I said. Now ours. I want this war over, for good. Mark smiled over the phone. I was waiting for this call. Time to go on the offensive. Mark's offensive was swift and brutal. He didn't just defend. He filed a lawsuit for material damages from the inspections, delayed deliveries due to their complaints, and emotional distress. The amount was massive, enough to cost Dad and Linda their fancy house and savings, but that was bait. The real blow came elsewhere. Using my old journals and neighbor testimonies, Mark tracked down Natalie's biological father's ex-wife, the woman Dad left for Linda. They'd never fully paid child support, and Linda blocked his access to Natalie to protect their new family. The ex-wife, still bitter, happily testified. We submitted evidence to court for unpaid child support with interest, a separate but devastating hit. Our case turned from a family dispute to a criminal matter of child support evasion and financial harassment. The press, already familiar with the story, ate up the new twist. The concerned parents' image crumbled into selfish criminal villains. Dad and Linda fought back, but the evidence was ironclad. Their lawyer friend advised a settlement. They surrendered, completely. The terms were harsh but fair. 1. They admit guilt in defamation and harassment. 2. They publicly apologize in the same paper as Sarah's article. 3. They retract all complaints and renounce any claim to my business forever. 4. They pay a reduced but significant sum for emotional distress. 5. Natalie's dad acknowledges and starts paying the child support debt. In return, I dropped the criminal suit. They agreed. The public apology was worse than any fine for them, their total capitulation. Reading their apology letter in the paper, I felt no joy, just emptiness. And peace. The battle was won. The war was over. Natalie sent me a letter. One line, you were always selfish. You won. Enjoy your loneliness. I tore it up. She was wrong. I wasn't alone. I had my team, my customers, my life, built by me. I stood behind my shop's counter, serving my best blend. Sunlight warmed my back. Chloe laughed, chatting with a regular. I was home. I was free. The coffee in my hand didn't smell of victory over enemies. It smelled of peace. And that was the sweetest aroma of all, the end. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new stories.